What is your deepest, darkest secret? My girlfriend tried to take her own life because of me. Last December, I had been dating a girl named Sue, but cheating on them with my current girlfriend, Sarah. Because Sue's parents are extremely homophobic, Sue and I hadn't been able to speak in months. She was in the States, I was in Germany. In the months we hadn't been able to speak, I'd started fooling around with Sarah and developing intense feelings for her. Finally, I decided to break up with Sue for Sarah and emailed Sue explaining it. About 3 days later, Sue messages me that her parents have decided to let us speak again. I was torn. I hated Germany and wished I was back in the States and happy. I'd been so happy with her and wanted that back. Delusional from what I had but was gone, I broke up with Sarah to get back together with Sue. That was probably one of the worst weeks of my life. In the past years, I've suffered from alexithymia, a condition where you have a difficult time processing, identifying, feeling emotions. Yet during this week, I hopped from being happy to have Sue back to missing Sarah and hating myself for hurting her. It got to the point where I tried hurting myself, but didn't have a knife and only scraped myself with a rat tail comb before Sue talked me out of it. Finally, after about a week, I broke it off with Sue, too devastated to be in a relationship with her. Siraj found out through a mutual friend, and we decided to try to remain friends. On New Year's Eve, she asked me out again, and ever since our relationship has been amazing. But the scars from that time were horrible. We both suffered from depression, and at one point I had a mental breakdown. We both started counseling, and he suggested we do a group session to talk about what had happened the previous December. During the session, I found out Sarah had tried to take her life multiple times while we were broken up, but never told me because she felt horrible. Since then, I've hated myself. I've always viewed myself negatively and had low self-esteem, but the guilt was overbearing. I would lay awake at night and mentally abuse myself, telling myself what a terrible person I was and how I deserved to die for what I did. I wanted to hurt myself for what I did, but Siraj and I had made a pact against doing this sort of thing, and I didn't want to betray her trust again. There were many nights when unaliving crossed my mind until I realized how selfish that would be and would leave Sata alone once again. My counselor has helped me tremendously with this guilt, but it's still there. Every time something happens between us, I stop and think, you hurt her so badly, and yet you're getting into an argument about such and such? You're a monster. When my depression gets really bad, my mind lists the things I've done until either I sob myself to exhaustion or start considering taking my life, at which point I manage to stop thinking about all the bad things. I will always hate myself for what I've done. I love my Sarah more than anything and would die if something happened to her. I only hope I can make it up to her by giving her the love she deserves.